Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amrulfalah bin Muhammad Amin. I will be presenting about Archimedes' principle. In theory, Archimedes' principle states that any body completely or partially submerged in a fluid at rest is acted upon by an upward force called buoyant force, the magnitude of which is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the body. Archimedes also states that volume of displaced fluid equals to the volume of object fully immersed in the fluid, or to that fraction of the volume below the surface for an object partially submerged in a fluid. Introduction of the experiment. According to the legendary Archimedes, the buoyant force of an object is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced. From here, it is understood that the object will somehow weigh lighter when it is being submerged compared to when it is in air or on a static surface. This lighter weight of the object is called the apparent weight. When the object is being submerged into fluid, it loses some weight, called apparent weight loss. This is also equal to the weight of the fluid displaced. Moving on to the objectives of the experiment. Firstly, to investigate the relationship between the weight of the water displaced and the buoyant force. Secondly, to find the density of an object using Archimedes' principle. Thirdly, to find the relationship between buoyant force and volume. Methodology of the experiment. Step 1. The mass of an empty beaker, call it M1, is measured with a beam balance and recorded. Step 2. A potato is attached to a spring balance with a string. Step 3. The weight of the potato, which is W1, is measured and recorded when it is attached to the string in the air. Then, water is poured into a eureka can until it flows out of the spout of the can into the empty beaker. Next, when the water has stopped dripping from the spout, the beaker is then emptied and placed under the spout of the eureka can again. Then, the potato is slowly lowered into the eureka can until it is completely immersed in the water. Finally, the readings of the spring balance W2 when the potato is immersed completely in the water and the mass of the beaker that is filled with displaced water M2 are taken and recorded. So this is the setup of the experiment. Moving on to the calculations and results. The actual weight of the potato, W1, is 1.23 Newton, and the apparent weight of it is 0.13 Newton. Therefore, we can calculate the buoyant force by subtracting W2 from W1, and we get it 1.1 Newton. The mass of the empty beaker, M1, is 0.066 kg. The mass of the beaker filled with displaced water, M2, is 0.178 kg. So, we can calculate the mass of the displaced water by subtracting M1 from M2, and we will get 0.112 kg. Therefore, we can calculate the weight of the displaced water by multiplying 0.112 kg with the gravity, which is 9.81 meter per second square, and we will get approximately 1.1 Newton, which is the same as the buoyant force. Now we can find the density of the potato, whereby the mass of the potato divides the volume of potato. Since the potato is fully immersed into water, the volume of the potato equals to the volume of displaced water. The volume of displaced water equals to the mass of the displaced water divided by the density of the water, and we will get 112 centimeter cube. From here, density of the potato can be calculated, whereby the mass of the actual potato divided by the volume of the potato, and we will get 1.12 gram per centimeter cube. For discussion, firstly, from the experiment, it is found that M2 minus M1 times gravity equals to W1 minus W2. Hence, the weight of displaced water equals to the buoyant force. Secondly, the weight lost by the potato when being submerged into the displaced water can be calculated by finding the weight of displaced water. Thirdly, density of the displaced water is needed in order to find the volume of the potato. In conclusion, firstly, it is concluded that the weight of displaced water and the buoyant force are equal. Secondly, by using Archimedes' principle, the density of an object can be calculated by relating the volume of the displaced water with the volume of the object. Hence, density of the object equals to the mass of the object divided by the volume of the object. Finally, buoyant force and volume are related, whereby the volume of an object completely immersed in water equals to the volume of displaced water. Then, by using the formula for density, we can get the buoyant force. That is all from me. Thank you very much.